Everyone loves a redemption story until you tell them your partner cheated and you're staying.
Oh, man. This is going to be a good one.
Welcome to the ANTD podcast. I'm your host, Amee Widders. This is my co-host and husband, D. Widders. Today we're talking all about the stigma of staying instead of leaving after cheating.
Should I stay or should I go? All right, let's get it.
Let's get it. Point one, the silent stigma of staying instead of leaving. So when someone gets cheated on, the world rushes in with outrage, support, and loyalty. As long as you leave. But the moment you choose to work through it, the support dries up and people assume staying means you're desperate, weak, have no self-worth.
Dang.
They don't see the inner work, the boundaries, the counseling, the transformation, just the fact that you didn't walk away. So for example, a woman shares the betrayal with her best friends who initially will rally behind her, but once she decides to fight for her marriage, those same friends start distancing themselves, gossiping, or calling her naive behind her back. A 2023 poll found that 62% of people believe relationships should end immediately after cheating, but nearly 50% of couples stay together long-term after infidelity, most without talking about it publicly due to shame or judgment. So why do you think we only validate the choice to leave, but not the choice to rebuild?
Something I heard a long time ago was it's easier for people to come together when they have a common enemy. So when somebody thinks that your spouse or whoever you're with is now your enemy and you choose that person over them, now they're looking at themselves as they're the enemy and you chose him, so go stay on that side, or her, go stay on that side.
Like, you mean when you tell your family and your friends that you're...
Yeah, it's like, okay, you're going to basically they're looking at it like you choose him who cheated on you over your family who's here for you.
Yeah, but y'all aren't in a romantic relationship. That's
I know.
weird.
That's how people look at it sometimes. And I just think in relationships in general, a lot of people have a hard time separating themselves from their families and like it's you and your spouse and then your kids and then your family comes after that. I think that, and it makes sense, right? We spend a majority of our life growing up with our parents or whoever raised you. And so it's hard to kind of let that go. And especially if you did let that go and that person that you chose ended up cheating on you. So I get it. It makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't tell my family and friends because I knew they would judge you. And also I was like, well, if we're going to stay together, I just don't want them to look at him differently.
Which is crazy because that could be one of the main pillars that held us together, because when we did decide to like tell your dad or your mom way before we started doing these podcasts, your dad was crazy supportive and like really it was just a reflection of how much you love me, how he ended up loving me and treating me. And it wasn't like he wasn't upset with me or anything like that. Like I felt that anger, I felt that pain that I put him through too. So yeah, I think that you got to pray and figure it out with God, but I think that decision that you made to wait definitely helped save our relationship.
Yeah, because he got to see the changed you when he was told about it. Whereas if I would have told them while I was living with my friend, having a miscarriage by myself on the floor, like if I would have told them all those things, I don't know if they would have been so. They saw who you really were after the fact, which is who I knew you always were while I was in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think like one of the reasons why you are the way you are, which is like extremely loyal, extremely forgiving, extremely like when you care about someone, you don't just give up on them. And I think that's a testament to your parents being married for what, 3-4 decades? And so you saw that.
Yeah, they've been married over 50 years.
Yeah, 50 years, sorry. And so you saw that the last 41 years that you've been alive. And I saw the opposite of that. I saw my mom leave me when I was 6. And then my dad have a couple of stepmoms. And thank God now I have like an awesome stepmom. Like she's like my mom here on earth. But it's like, you know, like I didn't have the best example. So you and your parents gave me the best example I've ever seen of what it looks like to stay together when you're going through something like extremely hard.
You think people would be more supportive if they knew how common reconciliation actually is? Because roughly 50% of couples stay together long term after infidelity.
That's such a great question. 100%. And I think that I remember I was officiating this wedding, and I just had this thought that what if, in order to break up or get a divorce or whatever, you had to have this giant group of people there with you, the same people you had at your wedding? Like, you probably wouldn't do it.
You'd be way more hesitant to divorce.
Like, what if you had to lay out all your cards on the table, everything you're going through in front of these 40, 50, 60 people that were at your wedding? Like, they would be like, nah, bro, you got to figure it out, like, work it out. Some people might be like, leave or whatever, but I think if you had to tell your whole family every single detail of your relationship, they would understand, especially like parents like yours that have been together 50 years. Like, they have been through everything, you know, like they
haven't been through betrayal.
I'm just saying they've been through, well, I'm sure they've been through betrayal, but in a different type of way.
Maybe.
They've been through heartache. They've been through death and loss and stress and working 2 jobs and all, mowing the grass, getting stung by bees, all kind of crazy stuff, right? Raising 4 kids, like, you know, moving out of like the city where it was hard to live, getting robbed. Like, they've been through a lot of stuff. Your dad has such great stories. So yeah, I think they are a huge asset in helping us stay together. But I do think that bringing it to them at the right time matters.
Before we get into point 2, I would like to encourage you all to join the monthly webinar where we discuss what actually happens to your brain when you're going through betrayal trauma, as well as some foundational points to help you heal from the betrayal, with or without your partner, honestly. So if that's something that would interest you and you are looking for more support on healing from the betrayal, you can go to shopantd.com to register, or you can click the link in the description.
Yeah, we hope to see you there.
Absolutely. All right, point 2. Friends and family often react from their own wounds, not your reality. So a lot of backlash comes from projection. Someone who never healed from their own betrayal may shame you for staying because your decision triggers what they never got to experience: repair, accountability, or closure. Their pain becomes your pressure. So for example, a sister who was cheated on years ago calls you weak for staying, not because you are, but because she never got an apology, a changed spouse, or a second chance. Research in personal relationship psychology shows that people who have experienced betrayal are 70% more likely to give harsh, absolute advice rooted in their unresolved trauma rather than the needs of your relationship.
Sheesh.
How do you tell the difference between advice and projection?
I think you just don't take advice from anybody who doesn't truly love you and have you and your partner's best interests.
I feel like if it's super negative, it's projection.
Yeah, I agree. And you can tell, and especially the older we get, it's like people are saying stuff that it's not how they feel about you, it's how they feel about themselves.
Oh, like in our comments and stuff?
Yeah, just in general, anything negative. And I'm not just saying that because I thoroughly enjoy being critiqued and picked apart, and you hate it, but like, I am constantly trying to improve every area of my life, and I'm able to eat the meat and throw away the bone. So
people are critiquing like what I look like or how I talk, where it's like, I can't really change that too much, you know? Like, you're shaming me because of society's standards. Like,
but they're also like, run. And I think that people need to realize that every situation is unique. Every relationship is unique. And so you can't just watch a clip and say, that could never be me, because you could never be me.
Well, yeah, like, we're not over here like, yes, stay with them if they're still cheating continuously and aren't going to stop. Like, we're not saying that at all.
That old saying, walk a mile in my shoes, you know, and I wear size 15, so good luck. Don't trip.
Chocolate chip.
Potato chip.
Should people who haven't healed from their own betrayal get a say in yours, do you think?
I don't know. I guess maybe, because you could still get advice.
I think
even a blind squirrel gets a nut every once in a while. So they could be blind to their situation and still give you good or okay advice.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, I think it would depend on, well, are they giving you advice or are they projecting?
Yeah.
If they're projecting, probably not. But if they're like trying to, be rational and like take the information from your relationship, not use what happened to them to project, then I think it's all right.
Well, at the end of the day, they don't want to see you get hurt again. And they don't want to get hurt again, too. Because when somebody you love gets hurt, it hurts you, too. So it's not really like, yeah, I understand it. They got hurt, too. I cheated on you, but that hurt your dad, too. So I get why somebody would be like, girl, leave him, But I think that
You never told me that, though.
But after, they see you're making the decision to stay and work things out, then I think if they're not supporting that, then I think you got to just love them. Love them from a distance.
Love them. Don't leave them. Before we get into point 3, if you need additional healing from the betrayal, you would like some support, we do offer one-on-one coaching.
My favorite.
Either by myself, by D-Self, together, however you want to do it.
Do it together. It works.
It's just another way for you to get more support and go off your actual situation, and just seek wise counsel, biblical counsel, people that have been through it already's counsel, and we're on the other side. So if that's something that would interest you and you want to book a call or a bunch of calls, go to shopantd.com or click the link in the description.
Let us walk you through the fire.
Can't wait to talk to you.
Yeah.
All right, lastly, point 3, choosing restoration can cost you community support. So people will tell you, I'm here no matter what, until your what doesn't match their expectations. So after infidelity, the moment you say you're staying, some people will pull back, talk down to you, or start treating your partner like an enemy, even after they've owned their wrongdoing. You may even feel like you have to hide the progress you're making to avoid backlash. So let's say a couple goes to counseling, they set new boundaries, and they start to actually rebuild, but family members keep bringing up the betrayal, disrespect, the cheating spouse at gatherings, and then they criticize the one who stayed for letting it slide. The Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that 38% of people who reconcile after infidelity lose at least one close relationship over their decision to stay.
That's so sad.
I would say that's accurate.
I would say that's extremely accurate for you.
Yeah, that's very accurate and unfortunate, but
maybe they'll come back around. Maybe God will soften their heart and speak to them and go to them wherever they're at and show them supernaturally how much he loves them.
Do you think that your healing journey should require a relationship purge?
Dang, that's a hard question. But
I
feel like you should be having a life purge.
I think you had a purge.
Well, I asked God to remove everyone from my life that he didn't want in my life and to bring the people that he wanted. And I have so many answered prayers of men in my life like Mackin and Danny and just there's tons of people. Eric, like Gene. Well, Gene's
been around,
number one.
And he's always been, I feel like,
Gene's
a positive
my best friend
influence
that's
on
beside you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
He's
I think
a brother.
Well, and Gene was in my life during the cheating and after the cheating. And so asking God to remove people, like God kept him around.
Did Gene ever ask you, like, what are you doing, bro? Or he was just like, man, let me get this money and get this dude's haircut kind of deal?
Yeah, I think it started off like that. But towards the end, it was more like, hey, Gene, you should believe in Jesus. And he's like, bro, you cheat on your wife. Why would I ever believe in Jesus? And so that really convicted me. Like, how can I be tattoos of Jesus and all this read your Bible nonsense to somebody that is watching me get money from prostitutes right in front and pay him for haircuts?
Yeah, but then we restored our relationship, and what happened with Gene?
Yeah, Gene gave his life to Jesus.
We got to baptize him.
And so
God is great.
Back to your question.
Sorry.
I think that God is great.
Love you, Gene.
Yeah, my best friend besides
Love you,
Eugenio.
Eugenio.
But yeah, I think that I think it's good to ask God to bring people into your life that's from him and remove people that's not, and let him do it. Because I can remember, it's like one of the biggest pimps in the city randomly asked me, this is like a year after I left like that lifestyle, randomly asked me to cut his hair, and I didn't want to be around him at all. And I asked God, like, is there a way where you could like make it to where I don't have to cut his hair? And like an hour before his haircut, it's like, oh man, I'm stuck at the DMV. I'm not gonna make it. And then I just never heard from him again until I seen him at a casino like a couple of years later. And he pulls up in his $500,000 car with $250,000 worth of jewelry, and I'm walking out of the casino with my bag of coffee. and, and you're pregnant with our daughter at this point, and I say hi to him, just show him love, and he's asking me how life's going. I'm like, everything's good, about to have another baby. I'm asking him, how you doing? He's like, same old. I'm up to the same old, and he asked me, you want to come watch the football game with me? And I'm like, that clicked in my head, like, man, you're so alone. You have all this money, everything the world would say is awesome. You have that, but you don't have like somebody to go watch a football game with you that loves you and cares about you. And I'm like, nah, I'm gonna go home to my wife and take care of my family. And I think that, I know not everybody has that type of story, but I think that there's certain people in your life that
You lie.
you lie. We was in Dubai riding camels.
We was in Dubai, mate.
It was lit. Yeah, there's certain people in your life that ain't supposed to be in your life, or they're just kind of like, like you just are always like irritating me, or you're always in a bad mood, or you're always like, you go out to eat dinner with them and they're always complaining about the food. It's like, there's certain people like that, just you don't need them in your life, and you know that, so it might be time to walk away. But there's people in your life that you decided to stay in your relationship, and it's been a year, 2, 3, 4 years, and they're still like, leaves. Like, I probably wouldn't be around those people.
How do you rebuild trust in your marriage and also navigate people who don't support your reconciliation?
I think it all goes back to like the order of your life. Like, God is over everything. You're seeking God first every day, and then your spouse, and then your kids, and then your family. And like, you have to have an order. So if it's coming against God, done. If it's coming against your spouse, done. Coming against your kids, done. Like, where do they fall in the food chain of your life? If they're not the top 3, 4 priorities, then what they say can't come before what God says, or your wife, or your kids.
Yeah, I just didn't care what anybody said about it, because I was like, well, I feel like this is what God called me to do. This is my husband. I took vows, for better or for worse. Like, this is my choice. I'm choosing to stay and work it out. I don't need to tell them. And I can't care what other people think about it. People are going to judge you no matter what you do. So if you feel like you are supposed to be making an effort to work on your relationship and reconcile with your spouse or your partner, like, go all in on that and don't care what anyone else says about it.
Yeah, I think that it is wise to make the decision whether you're going to stay or leave first with God, and maybe somebody that is not going to judge you, and then tell everybody else. Because if you do it in reverse, if you haven't made your mind up yet and you haven't talked to God yet, and you just go tell everybody, of course they're going to be like, nah, just leave. And it's just like, there's so many things in life that are like that. Like, I'm working at the world's largest strip club, making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for over a decade, cheating on my wife, and I decide I'm going to go to barber school. And people are like, what? Why would you want to be a barber? It's like, I don't want to live this life anymore. You weren't saying, why would you want to be this wannabe pimp, stealing money,
real.
cheat on you never were like, why would you want to do that? But sometimes when
Why would you want to cheat on your wife, bro? What are you doing?
there wasn't none of that.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, that's why you really need people from God to tell you, hey, man, this is not a good idea, or hey, this is an awesome idea. And so, yeah, I would make up your mind first with God, and then tell everybody else.
Or don't.
Or don't. Yeah, because at the end of the day, Me and Amy's going to be together the next 100 years on Earth. And there's going to be a lot of people that probably come and go. And in the meantime, we're going to love the crap out of those people and serve them the best we can. But, I mean, when we're old, I'm going to be wiping your booty, you know? And those people probably ain't going to be around. So
You've had to wipe my when I had C-section, so.
all right.
Too much, too much.
I'm going to have to bleep that out.
Thankfully, you've never had to wipe my booty yet, right? Yeah, nah.
All right.
Before we close out, if you're still a little nervous about one-on-one coaching, still a little scared about joining the webinar, we have several resources in the form of workbooks, PDFs that can also be super helpful to you, a 6-week course, a 31-day devotional video experience. Those also can be found at shopantd.com or click the link in the description, and we will see you in the next episode. Ow,
Peace.
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 My elbow.